Hey everyone, and welcome back to Travels and Tranquility. I'm Lauren.
I'm Devin.
I'm really excited about this video.
Me too.
I feel like I already know what the results are, but we haven't necessarily talked about it.
No, we haven't.
We're doing a video comparing the VIP experience at Universal Studios in Orlando, which we just did. This video is kind of coming out at the tail end of this whole series of being down in Orlando for the theme park and the cruise.
And your birthday.
Yeah, and my birthday. And we're comparing the one in, I got sidetracked. Comparing the one in Universal Orlando and Universal Hollywood, which we did last year. I will leave both linked in the description box below. So if you're stumbling upon this video and you didn't see the whole series, I'll leave them both linked down below so you can see the Hollywood video and you can see our recent Orlando video. So we're going to talk about this in a couple of different categories and kind of compare the two, and then we'll talk about at the end which one we think is the best one. So the first kind of big category that we're talking about is just perks. Just all the perks that come with being on a VIP tour.
Yeah, 'cause no matter what coaster you're on, you get a lot of things.
Yes, and a lot of them are the same. So some of the same ones is the valet parking. So at both at both theme parks, couldn't think of the word, you get free valet parking, which is a pretty big deal. I think the value is probably higher in Orlando than price-wise than it is in Hollywood. I'm sure you pay more for parking.
Are we talking price at this point?
No, I just mean for valet parking.
Right, that's what I mean for valet parking. Because I did hear somebody in our group mention what that included cost would be.
Oh, what is it?
$75.
So that's quite a bit. I don't know how much it is in Hollywood.
It's less than that. I think
it is less.
I think when we went last year, it was around 40, which is still steep for valet
absolutely
parking.
For parking, for sure.
That's just parking.
Yeah. So that's included. You also get, I believe at both parks, a discount on merch.
10%.
On the day that you have the VIP tour. So that's pretty cool. Other things that are included at both parks are the unlimited express pass. So before or after your tour, kind of depending on when you, what time you book your tour to start. Because what's cool is if you have one in the afternoon, you could still go earlier, pick up your pass, go ride rides if you want to, and then go back for your tour. But both parks include unlimited express pass, which means that you can ride rides that have the express pass lane multiple times.
Yeah, Universal's got this weird thing where you can, if you just want express passes, there's 2 tiers of them, and there's one where you get one for every ride, and then there's the unlimited, which gets you everything.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. The other things that are included, which we hyped up in our recap video of Universal Hollywood that we really liked and that we really like here, no lockers. So you do not have to pay for lockers, which in Orlando I feel like is an even bigger perk.
Much bigger deal.
Because there are so many rides when you have to get a locker. Now, lockers are free if you get the smallest level of locker at Universal.
And it only fits a small water bottle and maybe a side bag.
Right, if you're traveling with smaller bags. If you're like us and you're traveling with a big backpack because you have hats and fans and bigger water bottles. Sunscreen. Just
normal stuff you travel
shit
with.
That you might have
when it's 90 degrees outside.
Yeah. We have to pay for a locker each time, and it's $3 each time for the bigger backpack level lockers. Right. And it's many rides that have to do it. Many, multiple 2-hand counting level of rides that you would need it for.
Yeah, so there's a lot, and you can, if you go to the lockers at Mummy and throw all of your stuff in there, you can just leave it there. That's not a problem.
Sure.
And then you can go do a couple of the bigger thrill rides that require things. But the $3, I believe, I'll have to go back to the videos because I'm pretty sure I had shots of it. I'm pretty sure that $3 only gets you the first half hour, and then it's more money on top of that.
It's limited, yeah. And it's not you can open it within that time and close it back. You can't do that. Once you open it, you're done.
Yeah.
And you'd have to restart the process
again. So it can be a huge pain in the neck. The park is set up to where it's just easier to do the $3 at every ride.
Yeah, right.
A huge pain in the neck.
Do those, yeah.
It's a massive theme park.
It is. It's huge. The layout's really big. And, you know, if you're thinking about both theme parks, right? So you have Islands of Adventure and then just Universal Studios.
Yeah, you're not going to leave your bag in Mummy and then fly over.
Right, and then go ride Hagrid's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just not, because they're in different parks. But it's cool because with the VIP tour, you don't need to worry about lockers. And same in Hollywood. Neither one makes you get the lockers because your tour guide will hold them. Or in Orlando, we had a woman who was using, what are those called? Like the electric...
Oh, it's a mobility scooter.
Mobility thing.
Yeah.
And so we would all just pile our bags on top of her scooter.
With consent. With consent.
With consent.
She was just there with the family.
Yeah, she was really cute. She rode all the rides too. So oftentimes she would be leaving the cart and we would just put all our shit on her cart. And then we would all go ride the ride and come back.
It was just a landmark for us.
Yeah, exactly. It was just an easy spot for us all to put our bags. But I just thought it was really cute. She was really cute. She was a hoot.
It was a family from Scotland and they were so
fun.
They were all great.
So no lockers. Obviously, you get to cut through lines. So in both theme parks with your VIP tour, you're going in the exits. You're going in the single rider line. You're going,
staff entry.
Yeah, you're doing all these different back ways to get to the front of the queue. So you're even going faster than the express pass would get you.
Yeah, you don't just walk through the express line. It's you go. It's literally behind the scenes. You get to see stuff on the VIP tour that you never got to see in any other context.
Yeah, going through doors that you didn't even know were doors. Right.
Right.
And sometimes it's kind of funny. And then also you get quicker access at both theme parks. You get quicker access to non-express areas. So in Hollywood, this is like Mario Land, Mario World.
Super Nintendo.
At the time that we went last year, it was like the only way to really guarantee that you could get into that land, because at the time they were still doing a virtual queue. Now you can pay extra to get into that part of the park 1 hour before the park opens.
Yeah.
It's kind of like their early morning hours that you pay for instead of it being free.
So it's like Islands of Adventure having the early morning stuff over in Orlando.
So, but with VIP, you don't have to worry about. And then in Orlando, that's Hagrid's. So Hagrid's right now at the time of filming, who knows if this will change, but right now they don't accept Express Pass, like of any level. So the only way to cut down the line of Hagrid's is to be on a VIP tour where you'll go in through the exit. Otherwise, no matter what, you're in the same line with everybody else. That
ride's been open for, I want to say, at least 4 years, and it is still the most popular ride in Universal Orlando.
Yeah.
It's the one that everyone rushes to as soon as the rope drops.
It's what everybody's there an hour early to experience for the early morning hours.
Islands of Adventure is open an hour early if you get that, and that's the only reason you would do that.
Yeah,
because
that's what most people are there for.
Right, because it's interesting because there's only a couple of different spots open early for the early entry, and it's Hagrid's. Like you can't even get to like Jurassic Park.
No, you'll have seen in one of our videos when we did early morning. Like it's very limited.
Velocicoaster Hagrid, that's it.
So the best way to guarantee that is with VIP Tour, which is that's a really cool perk, because Hagrid's is one of the best rides out there right now. And so that's a really awesome perk. Last perk that I have written down is reserved seatings at shows. Now, we experience this more in Hollywood, where you have a special reserved area, like VIP area at Waterworld. There are shows at Orlando, but neither one were included in our VIP tour. So I'm not sure if that's a priority for your tour group, if there would be reserved seating included or not. We're just not sure.
It's very much it's not a priority, not as big of a priority as it is in Hollywood, because the only two shows are the makeup one and the Bourne Stuntacular.
They have the animal actors one as well.
Animal actors, right.
In Orlando.
In Orlando, and none of them are. Yeah.
None of them were included on our tour. And like I said, I don't know if that's just because we had a specific group of people that wanted to see a specific amount of things. But yeah. I just thought that was worth commenting on. So our next thing that I wanted us to kind of talk about and compare, because a lot of the perks are the same. Oh, I guess another perk would be breakfast and lunch, but I have a separate category.
Yeah, we'll talk about that too.
So we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. But I wanted to touch on as our second category, the tour guide and the tour group as kind of a comparison point.
Yeah.
So we've been on the Hollywood tour twice. And the Orlando one once. I will say overall the tour guides are great.
Yeah, and getting that, getting the access is really why you're there. So,
yeah.
But yes, I think by and large you're right.
Yeah, they're very knowledgeable. They're connected to like everything that's happening in the park, so they know when rides are down,
right,
when rides are crazy busy, like where crowds are and things like that, so you avoid some of that stuff. And as we mentioned in our recap video for our VIP tour in Hollywood, so much of your experience is based on who you get as a tour guide and who's in your tour group.
Yeah, those are the biggest variables that you literally just can't control for that.
No, you really can't. And I think we've never had a bad experience, though. Overall,
no,
all of the experiences have been really positive. I mean, granted, we're a small sample size. We've done it 3 times. But we're on the internet, so we feel like we can talk about everything.
Well, I would imagine is not everybody does. There's very few people that have done it like multiple times.
Maybe, yeah, I imagine. It's kind of like a special treat.
Yeah.
For a lot of families, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that for sure. I think this was my favorite group that we were paired with, and probably my favorite tour guide.
Okay. In Orlando,
yeah, the Orlando one. I don't really recall too much about the first Hollywood one we did, like the tour guide.
He was pretty low-key. I remember liking him because he was just like...
He was chill, yeah.
He was chill, and he was like there to do his job and there to get you through the rides really quickly. He wasn't... Our second tour guide in Hollywood that we did last year had a very big personality, and in my opinion, made a lot of the day about himself. Because it was a lot of his personal anecdotes. His personal anecdotes were very much like pick me kind of girl, and very much like, look at me, like look at all the cool things I've done. I've worked with this celebrity and that celebrity, and he would stop to take photos with other people because of his crazy mustache, and that's fine. Like,
it's because he's well known. He's part of the film industry, or was at one point. I mean, like he lives next to Steve Carell in Hollywood, so he's there, he's retired, he's there just for himself, he's having fun, and it showed a bit, and so it's on top of that. We also had a family with it's always, it can always get very distracting when there are children in the group.
Absolutely,
and so it can kind of distract from where other folks may not, or may want their tour to go.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We were lucky in Orlando that our group was entirely adult, and that we were all kind of after the same things. Right, yeah. So we were after, the Harry Potter rides and the big roller coasters and kind of the thrill-seeking rides, the adventure kind of rides. But also I think Orlando has a lot more of that to offer. In Hollywood, it's very limited on how many rides there are. Yeah. And so you are still going to ride the quote-unquote like kiddie rides. Right. Because they don't have a ton of like big roller coasters. They don't have a Velocicoaster. They don't have Hagrid's. So they're limited in those thrill-seeking ones anyway. So you're still going to hit the kiddie rides as part of your VIP tour. Like, to put it into perspective, if you've been to Orlando, Universal Orlando, just the one park, excluding Islands of Adventures, by itself is bigger than the entire Universal property in Hollywood. It's very small. It's built on the side of a hill. The main attraction for Hollywood is very much the film studio, and things which like is that. A separate category. And we'll touch on that. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But you can't really compare the parks. Hi. So it's tough. So you're going to get drastically different experiences because there are different reasons to go to the different parks. Yeah. Agreed. Our third category is food, and I think this is where we can really start comparing the two, because in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure Devin agrees with this is one thing that we have talked about.
Yeah.
One is very clearly better at food than the other one.
Yeah.
So should we say it at the same time? Which one's better?
Sure. Right? Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even a contest.
It's not even a contest. The food is so much better.
Right.
So in both VIP parks, you get like a breakfast and a lunch included. I think if you do private tours, you might also, like where you're it's just your one group, I think you might also get dinner, but don't quote me on that. I know you do in Disneyland.
Right.
So I'm not sure. And we're really talking about lunch here. So breakfast at both parks is very continental. Mm-hmm. It's pastries, that kind of thing. I will say the breakfast at Orlando is maybe
it was a little more. Yeah, it was
because
a little
they had
more.
like pancakes, bacon, that kind of eggs, that kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas at Hollywood, it's very much like Best Western continental kind of breakfast.
Right, it's yogurts and cereals and bottled
pastries. They had a couple of like egg sandwichy things, but they were
all cold
usually.
Sandwiches. It was very strange. Yeah. So Universal Hollywood, figure that out.
Yeah, the breakfast could be better.
Right.
I think where you're eating breakfast better is the location is better in Hollywood.
It is
because it has the indoor and the outdoor space.
And it overlooks the entrance to the Universal Hollywood property, and it's just beautiful. You're on this little terrace.
Yeah.
The interior is really cool because there's like Oscars and Emmys and like historical photographs from, but it also highlights why you're there, because if you're going to be in Hollywood, you're there for the movie studio aspect,
the movie making aspect, which is the next category, Devin.
But I mean, to your point though, the setting for breakfast at Orlando was just kind of dull. It was like a cafeteria.
Yeah.
The
only cool thing about the Orlando breakfast, when you have the first time slot of your tour in the morning, as you saw in our video, you got to go into the park earlier, which is cool.
Literally before it opens.
Before it opens. That's a cool fact.
That was awesome.
That's cool. Then lunch. I think the lunch at Universal Studios Hollywood VIP tour is worth the price alone. It's so
good.
Good. It is good.
So, being that Universal Hollywood is an active film and television studio, they employ executive chefs for all of that stuff, because they cater to the staff that are there, the celebrities that are there, the executives that are there. And so it's not like there's just restaurants on property.
Right.
There are executive chefs whose full-time job is to feed everybody on campus. And one of the best perks of the Hollywood VIP tour is that you participate in that executive catered lunch. And
so good.
There's so much variety. The food, both times we've gone, has just been, I mean, it may have even gotten
chef's kiss.
It may have even gotten better the second time we were there. Like, I mean,
it's good.
It's nuts. Go back to our Hollywood video.
Yeah.
I do a whole rundown on everything that's offered.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we show everything. There just isn't a comparison. Do you want to talk about Orlando?
It's absolutely delicious. Well, I want to say too, for Hollywood, one of the other benefits is you're in a restaurant or like a location that is only for VIP.
Yeah.
So you were only in there with people from your tour group and people from other tour groups where their like lunchtime is lining up with you. So it's you can spread out much more.
Right. It's a huge venue.
It's a huge venue in there. So you could spread out a bit more. You're not forced to sit with any people that you don't want to sit with, and everyone there is on the VIP tour, and like you can take your time eating, and it is buffet style. You can get up as many times as you want to grab stuff, so it's really easy to serve yourself.
There's also an exterior terrace similar to the breakfast area that overlooks the Hollywood Hills.
It's beautiful.
Like, it's gorgeous.
We love sitting out there.
Yeah.
And
and character meet and greets.
Character meet and greets. Yeah, the Hollywood restaurant, you'll get 2 characters usually per lunch. Usually, we've gotten a lot of Dracula.
Both times it
Doc
was
Brown.
Dracula and Doc Brown.
Yeah, but we've also seen in other videos like Lucy. So you get some characters, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And they have like like you do at breakfast, they have some of the other VIP perks, like water bottles for you to take, a charging station where you can charge your phones, like the ponchos, the hand sanitizer, so that you can grab some of that stuff if you need like to replenish anything. And then as far as Orlando goes, crap in comparison. Absolute crap.
So when you're in Hollywood, they're like, okay, we're gonna go to lunch now. And we're like, oh, well, where are we going? You know?
Yeah, and it's like a little secret Moulin Rouge thing.
Yeah, they take you down into it's like right across. I think it's near the illumination area where it is now, and you're like in this alleyway, and they're like, well, where are we going? And then they open a door, and then there's this whole beautiful restaurant venue.
Yeah.
And then in Orlando,
you just go inside of a regular restaurant. So in Orlando, it's Finnegan's.
Yeah.
And it is nice because the tables are reserved for you.
Right.
So you don't have to like wait in line, sure. But you're with everyone. You're in the theme park. I think what's cool about the Hollywood is like you get a break from
the crowds.
Theme park and the crowds and the people. And in Orlando, you're just shoved in there right at lunchtime. We were there at 1:00, so it was packed.
And this isn't to say, because I know, like, if you're just watching these, you can come across of like, oh, we paid a lot of money, we don't want to interact with the normies or whatever. It's Finnegan's was literally elbow to elbow.
Yeah, it
There's
was very packed.
so little space in there to maneuver. It's wild.
Right. And you're limited on what you can get. You get like one appetizer to share. You each get an entree, and then you can do a dessert. It takes so long. We waited a really long time for our food to get there.
We didn't even do the dessert.
Our poor waiter was like so overworked. She had so many tables that were going, and I felt really bad for her. I didn't like it. It was not good atmosphere. The food wasn't anything to write home about. The location was kind of crappy. It was still hot and stuffy in there. And it just wasn't good. Like when you think VIP, that's not what you think of. So I was really disappointed that was the lunch.
Right, and especially...
There's nothing special about it.
Especially considering that the way Universal Orlando does their... And we'll talk about it more in detail in a little bit here, but especially considering how different they do their VIP stuff and like price point is compared to Hollywood, like it's just preposterous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is preposterous. I was really disappointed that that's what it was.
Right, and it's crazy. Like Lauren pointed out, like the poor wait staff, they were so overworked that like tip is included in your price point or whatever. But like Lauren went to use the bathroom, and I was gonna give her just some cash.
Right.
And like the second she saw that we were done, gone. Because she was so busy everywhere else that she literally did not even have 5 seconds to like take a tip.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. That could be the time of year that we went, or what have you, but honestly, I think that was a poor choice. So Hollywood definitely wins in the food category. The next category, which I think Hollywood will also win in, is the backlot and backstage opportunities that are offered to you at both parks. Devin has said this multiple times already outside of this category, but you go to Universal Studios Hollywood knowing that it is an active Hollywood studio, and that's part of what probably draws you to that theme park. So it's going to win in that category. So in Hollywood, obviously you have the backlot tram tour, and on the VIP tour, it is so cool.
It's just like you want to talk about immersion with these theme parks, like
it is so cool.
You step off into Hill Valley.
Yeah, it's neat.
You get to be in the area where the plane crash from the Tom Cruise
War of the
Worlds. Thank you.
Yeah, like, it's so nuts. Cool. So ordinarily at Hollywood, you're in like a longer cart and you kind of go through everything. You do have a tour guide that talks to you and stuff like that on those tours. And right now, while we're recording this, they are doing like a celebration, like an anniversary of their studio tour. And they are letting people off of the normie, like the normal studio tour. But the VIP tour, so cool. So you're in a smaller group. You pair up with another VIP tour. So you have 2 tour guides. You have a suitcase full of water bottles, which already great, right? When it's hot,
it maxes out at 24 people. That's the thing, which is crazy.
So you're on this cute little trolley that advertises that you're VIP, and you go around the studio tour. You're still getting the same stuff that you do on like the regular tram, but so much more. I'd say you get off the cart 2 to 3 times.
And you're off for a while. It's not just like it's not just photo ops.
You kind of like walk around a bit. And I think it kind of depends. We had 2 different experiences on our backlot tour. We went to a couple of different areas. This most recent time, the video that we have, we went into like a sound stage. We went into the prop warehouse. You also get off at various like of the set locations, like Devin was talking about. Like you can get off at the plane for War of the Worlds. We got off at like the city area, like the Hill Valley, where you can go see like the clock tower kind of thing. Well, the gazebo from Gilmore Girls is a really popular stop.
Our very first...
wait, is that Warner Brothers?
No, you're right. It's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was worried I was confusing the 2 studio tours. I feel like the Gilmore Girls thing might be Warner Brothers studio tour. I think that's
We'll fact check.
That's okay. Either way, you get off the damn tram.
But, like, I mean, there's the very first time we did the VIP thing, we got off and got to walk around Wisteria Lane from the Desperate Housewives show.
Yeah, and there's a tour there's a potty break
you use
in one
the
of
bathroom in Gabriella's house. What?
That's fun.
Yeah.
So obviously there's more opportunities like that because they have the backlot tour, but also like as you're walking around the park, your tour guide in Hollywood does a really good job of giving you inside information on the rides, on the history of like the franchises and stuff like that, which is so cool. Celebrities that have been there, that kind of thing. And in Orlando, you just don't get that. Our tour guide in Orlando said it really well, that Universal Studios Hollywood is a studio first and a theme park second.
Yeah.
Orlando is a theme park first and a studio second. And you get that when you experience the VIP tours at both parks.
Yeah, and I have it's honestly laughable comparing the 2 even in this category, because like we walked through, you'll see in our VIP video for Orlando, we walked through like
a production office.
The backlot was just a production office, and it was it was a working production office, like where
there were people there that had real name tags.
Cool stuff's happening. Jobs are happening. We saw a green room for some of the TV shows they filmed there.
Yeah. But it's not the same.
But like when you're comparing the 2, it's like Universal Hollywood filmed the monster movies. The part of Jaws was filmed there. Like Oscar-winning movies, Emmy-winning TV shows, and then you're walking through the halls of the Orlando production offices, and it's like, we filmed 2 episodes of The Voice here.
Yeah. And it's just a hallway of photos.
Yeah.
That's all it is in Orlando. There were some cool things that we got to do in Orlando that we unfortunately couldn't film. When we walked back from Islands of Adventure to Universal Studios, we took like a cast kind of way.
It was a shortcut through the backlot.
It was a shortcut. It was a parking lot. Sound stages were nearby, but you couldn't go in them, nor did our tour guide talk about what they were used for.
No.
When we went to the production offices, we passed more sound stages. Again, couldn't go in them, but he did say they were building
Is it Hollywood Horror Nights?
The sets for Horror Nights. Not Hollywood, just Horror Nights.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And we got to go under the ride at Mummy.
That was actually pretty cool.
That was really cool. So you got to go kind of like off to the side, like behind a fence, and you would see the ride go over you, which was really cool.
Yeah.
We also did some other thing where we went behind the scenes on a ride. Oh, Men in Black. You got to go on the floor of the ride. But nothing can
It really doesn't compare.
It really doesn't compare to seeing the prop warehouse. to see...
Which you also can't film.
Right. To being in the soundstage where Superstore was filmed. Like,
right.
to seeing... Like, it can't compare.
Like, the last time we went, we got to see we were inside a state-of-the-art 13-story, just built soundstage. Like, for like... It
was like 99% soundproof or something like that.
I mean, don't at me, but the Joker films are awful. But we were in the soundstage that had just wrapped up filming portions of the second Joker movie that's coming out later this year in 2024.
Yeah.
You know, and that sort of stuff... Like, despite me not being a fan of those films or whatever,
cool.
it's amazing to be like in those places.
Absolutely, just the immersion, the history is way like Orlando can't compete in that category. No. Hollywood has it like in spades.
Also, I mean, do we have a category talking about like the shows and stuff?
No,
because like the shows, like.
Devin made his own category.
I did, yeah.
Even though he approved these categories yesterday.
So like we already talked about what was in Orlando. You have the Bourne Stuntacular. You have the Pets in Film. The Hollywood Horror Makeup Show. Those are great. Hollywood Horror Makeup Show is
just
top
horror
tier.
Makeup show. I don't know why he keeps adding Hollywood to everything.
I thought it was Hollywood. Okay, all right.
I'm pretty sure.
But
I could be wrong.
You have Waterworld
I know.
at Hollywood.
You could have talked about that earlier, I guess, but that's okay.
Which is, I mean,
Waterworld's amazing.
As far as things based off of failed movies go, I mean, it's insane. The people there, they literally throw an airplane at you.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so... The next category is price, kind of our last category before we talk about final thoughts. So in Hollywood, we paid, I just took a screenshot of this from our last video.
It's a little over $600.
We paid $898 for 2 adults. That was last year Memorial Day weekend price. Obviously at both parks, I'm saying this with a grain of salt, both of these prices, both parks, prices fluctuate based on the time of year that you're going. Oh, you can't even see my thumb. Based on the time of year that you're going, the day of the week that you're going, your party size, obviously, the hours that the park is open, all of those kinds of things. If there are special events, all of that, okay? But we paid just under $900 for 2 adults in Hollywood for the VIP experience. And that includes everything. That includes your park tickets and the VIP experience, okay, for $900. In contrast...
Well, now, was that the entirety of the park tickets we were there?
Yep.
With the added? So that was multiple days at the park?
No, because in Hollywood we only did one day.
Did we only do one day?
It was only the VIP day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so it was just... That was everything.
So it was everything included.
Right. Because in Hollywood, the VIP tickets include park admission. In Orlando, it does not. Mm-hmm. So in Orlando, you have to buy park tickets, and they have to be park-to-park tickets because the VIP tour covers both parks. So you have to have the park hopper version that they have, which I think they just call park-to-park.
Park-to-park, yeah.
And then you have to pay for the VIP tour separately, okay? So you're paying for 2 things. And the park-to-park tickets, we did a Costco deal, and we did like a 2 days plus 2-day promo with our hotel. And so we probably spent maybe like $400 to $500 on the park tickets, I would say. For 2 adults, park to park. And that was probably for like the full 2 days plus 2-day promo, okay?
Which is a little side note, Costco travel is probably the only way you should be accessing Hollywood or Universal Orlando.
Yeah,
because
their packages are
packages are insane. Saves so much money.
Yeah. But since I have to buy the VIP separately, that wasn't done through Costco.
You can't do that
so
with Costco.
Just the VIP for 2 adults for 1 day, again, only the VIP tickets, not the theme park tickets, was $681.58. That was for a Monday leading up to Memorial Day weekend. So a busy time, granted, but I think compared to Hollywood, I feel like we could compare those prices.
Yeah.
Because they were both around the same time of year. And again, that's just, so we probably spent like $1,000 just on tickets, right? For the VIP and then our like park tickets. That's quite a difference, I would say.
Especially for what you get.
Yeah.
You know.
In my opinion, Hollywood is worth the price. Paying $900 to get that level of treatment and have the parking included, the food included, the theme park tickets included. That to me is worth it. Orlando, I'm not so sure yet.
I would agree. Hollywood obviously, like, because we looked at each other multiple times throughout our visit to Orlando, and we're like,
Hollywood doesn't matter.
Kind of miss Hollywood, you know?
I know. I desperately want to go back to Universal Studios Hollywood right now.
I will say that when it comes time for Epic Universe to open, and if the rumors are true and Simpsons is going away, and they're going to replace it with a Pokemon themed land, are true, then that may edge out Hollywood for me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
That's it.
I will say, you know, comparing prices, there was a couple in our tour group that were talking about, because for them, they were only there for one day, I think, and they were talking about comparing the VIP price with like the unlimited express pass.
Was that the couple from San Diego?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for them, it ended up being more cost efficient to just do the VIP tour because of all the extra perks than to just do the unlimited express pass. Because the unlimited express pass is very expensive. Again, that's a price that fluctuates.
It fluctuates way more than VIPs do. VIP is pretty stable. Based on what time of year. Like, you're not going to see like wild swings from day to day unless there's something crazy going on. But express passes get more expensive the more that are sold, and it's nuts. Like, for one day we priced it out for the day after our VIP thing, and it was going to cost like an extra $400.
Yeah, it was quite expensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a consideration at Orlando. The comparison of those two prices, I do think the VIP tour might be worth it in that case. If you were already going to pay for the park-to-park ticket and you were already going to add in the unlimited express pass, like, why not just do a VIP tour?
Right, because again, there is no option to add express pass to every day.
Right.
You have to pay for it by day. Mm-hmm. And if you wanted it every day, you're looking at an extra anywhere, depending on the time of year it is, anywhere from $200 to $500 per day. Yeah. And that's just nonsense.
It is. That's very expensive.
Just do the VIP.
And the VIP tour, yeah. And if you are there for a short amount of time, if you're only, if you added Universal on to a Disney vacation and you're only going to be there for one day, and again, you're comparing those prices of unlimited express pass and VIP, I do think the VIP is worth it. I do think it's more cost effective.
Right, because at least they feed you and stuff.
Exactly. So that includes some of that stuff. And like the parking if you drove yourself, from your Disney resort.
And you save a bit on the small incidentals like like water and lockers and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. So now it's time to wrap up this video and talk about our final thoughts and talk about which VIP experience is better. Should we count down and say which one we think is overall better? Sure. Hollywood or Orlando? 3, 2, 1 and say it. Yeah. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hollywood. I don't know if we're 38 minutes into this video. If you couldn't pick up on it. I gotta say, I mentioned earlier that if Epic Universe is everything they promise it to be, and if Simpsons does leave, which Simpsons is going to leave both parks at some point, probably. If it's replaced with something like Pokemon, like rumors are saying, even then, I still think I'd pick Hollywood. Yeah. Because it's the film studio. That's why I'm there personally. Right. That's a big reason for us to go to the theme park, for sure. And while it would be great to go visit the Pokemon League or Pallet Town or whatever, or the Dark Universe, which sounds pretty cool. So cool, yeah. I'm excited to see what that looks like. I'm still going to want to go back and visit a soundstage. I know. When we were in Orlando, we were actively in the theme parks, riding E.T. Right. Enjoying so much of our time there.
living our best life. We were still both looking at each other like, let's look at our calendar.
When can we go to
Hollywood? Should we pick this weekend? Let's look at prices. Like, we were literally pricing out and talking about when we could get our butts back to Universal Studios Hollywood VIP tour.
Yeah.
The entire time we were there, the entire vacation.
And one could argue that since the parks are so different, that they're just different experiences. If you want to go for this, you know, whatever. And you know, I'm sure people, if the video gets around like the last one has, I'm sure someone will be like, well, why are you even comparing the two if they're that different? You compare. You can't.
You do this when you're on a vacation. You compare.
They're promising similar things, and we think that Hollywood just does it better.
Yeah. I will acknowledge we probably do have some biases besides all of the things that we've talked about, besides being a big fan of movies and studio tours. We are from Northern Nevada, so the weather in California is much more accessible to us, that drier heat. So much easier for us. Orlando, fucking nightmare with the damp heat.
The 90% humidity.
Hate it.
Yeah.
So I will say that's a bias that we are facing here.
Oh, I feel like we did pretty good this time.
Yes. No, we were fine.
Last time.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I get you.
It is a factor, and I just want to acknowledge we have these biases. So the weather obviously is a bias. The accessibility, we can get to LA so much faster than we can get to
It's an hour flight, if
Orlando.
That. Yeah.
What else was I going to say? Oh, there was another one, but I can't think of it. So we do acknowledge that we have those things, and they probably do factor into which one we think is better. But I also just think of in all of these categories, if you're getting the same perks, if you're getting the same kind of variability in tour guide and tour group, the other categories, Hollywood won.
Beats it.
Food, backlot, backstage, and price, Hollywood won.
Yeah.
So, in our opinion, we think the Hollywood VIP tour is better.
Yeah.
So, that's it for this video. This was a long video. We hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I'll leave videos, the videos linked in the description box for both VIP tours if you want to check them out and compare and see which one you think is better. Also, shout out in the comments if you've done either VIP tour and what you thought about them, especially in comparison to these categories.
Yeah, let us know.
If you've done both, we would love to hear from you because we want to know if we're in the consensus, did we miss something? Like, what do you guys think? And yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching and sticking to our channel. Go back and watch all of our Universal videos. Talking about Universal and theme parks, oh my god. So obsessed. So much fun. Let's schedule in our next VIP tour, babe. I told Devin, because in preparation for this video, last thought, I went back and watched our VIP tours from Hollywood and stuff. And in the wrap up video where we talked about whether or not it was worth it, at the end I said we got to get out to Orlando and try the VIP tour. And we did. I'm putting it out into the universe that we got to get back to Universal Hollywood. And I think this time we got to try it when it's holiday season.
That's not bad.
We got to see some of that holiday merch, some of that holiday decor. Let's do it. I'm putting it, if it works like this, if I just have to say it in a video, then I'm fucking putting it out there in the universe that we're going back there. Same with the Warner Brothers studio tour. I want to do that around the holidays. So,
do you think it's different?
I don't know, but I know the merch is different. So I'm putting all of that out there so that I can make it happen.
Well, if we're going to go to Hollywood, obviously we're going to do both.
I know, right? I know. Okay, that's it. I just had to put that out there.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye. See you guys in our next one.